Hi everyone. So today I'm going to be doing my pregnancy update for the 10 weeks. So I am so excited. I have filmed this video and they erased because I got a replacement for my phone. So they completely erased. So I guess I will do an update from 4 weeks up until 25 weeks all together, just because I did realize that I did make like different videos, but they were like really short videos. So I don't want to bore you guys, and I want to like have you guys up to date because I am already 27 weeks and 5 days. So that means that I am pretty much almost 28 weeks, and so I feel like I've been delaying it, and I just wanted to put that out there. So I'm gonna do all the symptoms, but I am gonna be saying like from what week to what week. So I wrote it down in the notebook just so I don't forget. So for 4 to 10 weeks, I had a lot of nausea. Nausea was really bad, and it was specifically 6 to 10 weeks to be exact. I had constipation, which honestly I still like. It's a symptom that I've been having like my whole pregnancy. I'm so sorry for my hair, you guys. It is so dry, and it is this new shampoo I have been using. So I'm so sorry. They look really bad. And also I had indigestion. Indigestion was so bad, and there was to a point where I couldn't eat. I couldn't. One time I woke up in the morning and I couldn't even like. Sorry for saying like a lot. I need to cut that out. Like stop. And it was so bad that I couldn't even move. I felt like a crab, but it was indigestion. Later I realized it was indigestion. I couldn't eat a lot, and with the nausea, like it was all like mixed together. So that really made me lose weight. I mean, I had lost weight like pre-pregnancy, but it made me lose even more weight. So, and then I had sore breast, but the sore breast was mostly like 4 to 6.5 weeks. It wasn't that long, and then it never came back. It was just like a temporary thing. I was tired. I was tired 4 to 10 weeks, and then it went away, and then it started to come back at 23 weeks. And then constipation, I've been having the whole pregnancy, like I said. Gas kind of became a really big thing at 15 weeks. It was like a really big thing from 15 weeks up to until like 24 weeks. And now like that part from like 10 weeks up in 11 weeks until 22 weeks, like everything, it was calm. Like I felt like I went back to normal. Like my nausea went away. I wasn't as tired. My indigestion went away, and so I was able to eat again. Because nausea, I never threw up, but it was to a point where I was gagging, so I wasn't like never like throwing up or anything like that. But then like symptoms started to show up again at 23 weeks, that's when kind of stuff kind of started to come back. And I had a lot of tiredness again. I was starting to get tired, but it was also because at 23 weeks I did have the flu, and it was so bad, like to a point where, but I will talk about that later. I'm not going to talk about it now. I also had a lot of like leg pain. It was a really big thing. It's still a big thing, but I'm not gonna update you guys from 25 weeks to 28 weeks. That would be in the next video, just so we kind of get into the habit of doing like normal updates. my hunger has increased tremendously from 20 weeks to 25 tremendously. I have been eating way more, but not to an excessive point like when I was pregnant with my daughter. When I was pregnant with her, I did have a lot. I would eat so much. That's not a thing now. And I have not gained as much weight, or I feel like I have not gained as much weight as, with her. And that's basically all the symptoms that I've had over like the first 25 weeks of pregnancy, which obviously it's like 6 months of pregnancy. But now I'm going to talk about cravings. We're going section by section, but I will talk up until 25 weeks. Where is it? Okay, cravings. It was just mangonadas at 4 to 10 weeks, just because remembering that I did have nausea, so it was a really big thing. So I was only eating like mangonadas, saltine crackers. Saltine crackers were not a craving, but it was mostly what I could eat at the time. I couldn't eat no Chipotle. You guys know, if you know me personally, you know that I love Chipotle. That was nothing that I was eating. So I was basically not eating much. I tried to eat a few things, but honestly the smell would just make me really nauseous. And that was the only craving for 4 to 10 weeks. And then the cravings started to pick up at 11 to 20 weeks. That's where I would start to crave cheesecake and fries and hash browns and pancakes. Pancakes specifically from IHOP, hash browns specifically from IHOP. My last pregnancy was like burgers at the beginning. Not at the beginning. It was like the beginning of the second trimester. And this time that was not a thing. But I was craving hash browns back then, but it was like McDonald's hash browns, and this time it's IHOP hash browns, so it was different. It was the same thing with different places. And those were my cravings from 11 to 20 weeks. And now the cravings for also I craved like the funnel cakes from the state fair so much, which obviously the state fair is now over, so here where I live, it's really hard to find funnel cakes, even churro places, because churros have been a big craving from 20 weeks to 25 weeks up until even now. But I will talk about obviously that in another video. But I am still craving churros, and that's one of my biggest cravings. It's really hard to find good churros or funnel cakes, basically like fried sweets. Also, I started to crave Chipotle way more. Hot sauce with like sour cream, steak, that type of vibe. And also chocolate chip cookies, specifically from Chick-fil-A. I love Chick-fil-A cookies, and I have been obsessed for now 3 years. But after I had my daughter, I stopped eating Chick-fil-A for a long time. When she was like 8 months old, that's when I stopped eating it. And obviously I stopped eating it altogether, so I stopped eating like the cookies and everything. But now that I'm pregnant, I eat like 2 cookies in a day. And also, like, I would crave green apples. I forgot to mention this, and I forgot to note it down. At like 9 weeks to 12 weeks, that was kind of like a craving, but I feel like that was kind of to calm down the nausea. So enough of the cravings. So now we're gonna go talk about different topics that happened throughout those things, because there's different things that happened, obviously. Weeks. So we're gonna start from 4 to 10 weeks. So at 7 weeks, I started bleeding. It was 7 weeks and a few days. I started bleeding, and I was really scared but it wasn't red, it was just like brown. And it started when I woke up, and it continued throughout the day, so I was very concerned, and I ended up going to the ER, but they confirmed it was a hematoma. The baby was fine, the heartbeat was fine, but 3 weeks later I went in for an ultrasound and there was 3 hematomas. It wasn't one anymore, it was 3. Eventually, thankfully, it went away, but that was like one of the biggest scares that I had, because my first pregnancy I had a hematoma, but the only thing I would have was pain, and it was like a really small, just one. So I was really afraid that something else like would happen. So I kind of took it like very light. Like it was a really light first trimester, like the first 10 weeks. Just because I was scared, you know. I didn't know. I didn't announce my pregnancy until I was 17 weeks, which honestly I wasn't even too sure if I wanted to do it. But that was one of the first scares that I had. And then moving on to 11, 20 weeks, I found out the gender at 17 weeks, 3 days. I went to an ultrasound place and they confirmed it was a boy. So yes, it's a boy, and I'm so excited to be expecting my first son. As you guys know, I have a daughter now. She's 18 months old as of now, and it is so crazy. Like, I'm gonna have one and one. I was like, you know, this happened through my mind also with my daughter. Like, at the ultrasound place, when they were about to tell me, I was like, maybe it's another girl. But like when I was sitting down in the waiting room, but then I went in and they started doing the ultrasound, and I don't know, I'm not an ultrasound tech or anything like that, and I kind of saw, you know, boy part, and I was like, maybe that's not it. And then they also obviously confirmed it was. I didn't have a gender reveal this time. I just kind of wanted more privacy in the beginning of the pregnancy, kind of take it chill out, because last time I did have a gender reveal, but I wasn't that hyped up this time, so I decided not to have it. I went back and forth for a long time until I was like, I'm not gonna do it. And so I didn't have one. I didn't have a gender reveal. All right, so, and then at 20 weeks I went in for my anatomy scan. And I did end up going to have a second one because they were unable to like see the heart, because the baby in the position that it was. So I ended up having to go back 2 to 3, no, I think it was like 2.5 weeks later, at 22 weeks and a few days, because I went at the first one I went right at 20 weeks, and then I went at 22 weeks and 5 days. So the baby hadn't moved the position that he was before, like from the first one. So, but I went into more of like a high risk ultrasound office, and they did, you know, they did examine, and thankfully everything came back great. So that was kind of like a scare. I was like, you know, what is going on? You know, with my daughter, they told me she was moving a lot, but they were still able to see what they had to see in the anatomy scan.